Quantum computing and catastrophic consequences are closer than realized. In a recent article in the Australian Business Review, it was reported that physicists in the field of quantum computing research have made a giant leap forward. This article states, University of NSW researchers say that they have achieved the first calculation involving two quantum computer bits encased in silicon. The feat, outlined this morning in the journal Nature, is a game changer in an experimental field that dovetails into the federal government's applied research focus. The leader of the team, Andrew Zarek, is quoted as saying, "We've come up with a full design for how to wire up thousands or millions of these things. There are still big engineering challenges, but I believe all of those are solvable." Quantum computing is now a very real possibility, and one that will likely be realized sooner rather than later. For years, CERN has even expressed a deep interest in utilizing quantum computing to analyze the massive amounts of information the LHC produces. Back in February 2006, CERN released a bulletin about an upcoming conference that would explore the potential of quantum computing. Quantum computing uses the strange behavior of certain subatomic particles to achieve the impossible. This behavior is known as quantum entanglement, and as of now, quantum entanglement is a complete mystery. When two particles are entangled, they have the ability to communicate with one another at instantaneous speeds, even faster than the speed of light. This is thought to be physically impossible because of all the paradoxes that faster-than-light speed is supposed to cause. For example, the closer one accelerates to the speed of light, the slower time moves for the traveler. At the point the traveler reaches the speed of light, time literally stops. If somehow the traveler could accelerate even faster, time would begin running backwards. There is also the problem of mass. The closer an object comes to the speed of light, the more mass it gains. To reach the speed of light, an object would have infinite mass, which of course is physically impossible. Photons, the particles of light, are massless by nature, which is how they can travel at such incredible speeds. One theory to explain quantum entanglement, and by far the most convincing, is that this phenomena is operating through higher spatial dimensions. When more spatial dimensions are added, things that seem physically impossible can become possible. For example, think of a two-dimensional triangle. We know based on the rules of geometry that every angle of the triangle should add up to 180 degrees. Now imagine if we were to measure the angles of the triangle and discover to our astonishment the angles add up to a value greater than 180 degrees. How could this be physically possible? It's simple when we add another spatial dimension. If the triangle was fixed on the surface of a sphere, for example, the angles would add up to higher than 180 degrees due to the curvature of the lines making up the triangle. Thus, the impossible becomes possible. If quantum entanglement is operating in higher spatial dimensions, then quantum computing would essentially possess extra-dimensional processing power. There would be virtually no limit to what could be achieved with such a machine. The elite in control of such technology would have access to godlike abilities and powers. When considering how much control the elite have over the general population of the world from utilizing the technology of today, it is frightening to consider what will be done when quantum computing provides nearly infinite possibilities. The other issue is the technology required of quantum computing is so vastly outside of the realm of understanding, we would be tapping into something we can't hope to comprehend. We have no idea what the consequences to opening the world up to higher dimensions would be. Biblical end times prophecy speaks of a time when the separation between the spiritual world and our own will be breached, allowing in eternal and extra-dimensional beings who will choose to wreak havoc on the earth. Utilizing quantum computing might very well be the first step to fulfilling those prophecies. As I state in my books Quantum Creation and Cherubim Chariots, the terms extra-dimensional and spiritual are essentially the same thing. An extra-dimensional being is synonymous with a spiritual being. They are the same thing described with two different terms. Now, more than ever, we must take the time to learn and understand what the world is doing in scientific circles, especially in physics. The world is quickly speeding toward a quantum future, and we must be prepared. If you would like more information, visit www.ministudyministry.com. And also check out my show, The Sharpening Report, on this channel, youtube.com/Josh Peck Disclosure. Take care and God bless.